Okay, yeah. So click on the About tab. That just shows some. That shows the link to the GitHub where it says learn about the software stack. Start here. So so you can read about the GitHub about the source code behind it, and then click yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the code. So it's using ClojureScript and for the UI and Clojure for the backend. So the backend is taking a parsing what you type and trying to derive the meaning of it and seeing if the meaning matches what the question is. So yeah, go ahead and go back to the nlquiz again, and then click on the curriculum, and yeah, and then click on one of the menu items. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully, yeah. Okay. Right. So what it's showing below is the is some like material about like what you're trying to learn. So it's showing some examples, and if you click on the little speaker, it should play it. I don't know. It's probably not going to be able to. Not everyone can hear it, but maybe you can hear it.
I confirm that I can hear it. Yes.
Nice. Okay. Good. So that's using. So then, cool thing about that is it's an open standard. Like any browser. Well, the three browsers that I know of, like Safari, Chrome, and Firefox, all support that. Yeah, and it's interesting to look at the this. Yeah. So that is the Open Web Speech API. So that's kind of cool. And it searches for it. You can search for languages by region and language. So in my platform on Mac, there's there's a Belgian Dutch and a Netherlands Dutch, and the Netherlands Dutch voice is male and the Belgian Dutch voice is female, and it chooses one randomly. So some are some are the female voice, some are the male voice. So that was fun to learn about. Yeah, so and these are all just randomly generated from a lexicon and a grammar. And then if you click on the input box, you can try to guess what it is in Dutch. And if you don't know it, you can say yes. Yeah, Hetland. Yay, you got it. And then it should show another one. Apparently. Yeah.
Maybe just by chance is the same. Nope.
I'm not sure what's going on there.
Maybe. Okay.
The grape try that did Ralph.
Oh, I have no idea. What is it again?
Did Ralph DRUIF.
DRUI.
Yeah. Yay! Okay. Got it. Yeah. For some reason, yeah, it's on your. Yeah, I'm not very good at CSS, so it's not taking advantage of your screen dimensions very well. But yeah, so yeah, that's basically it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So do one more. Or go to the curriculum one more time, and go to the last one, which is numbers. Yeah. So numbers, like in Dutch. Yeah. So the 63 curious boys. So that's so in Dutch, it's like 3 and 60 instead of 63. So that's a tricky thing. I found that tricky, so I wanted to drill that and just keep trying different expressions with that phrase. So it's just it's generating these random random phrases, and then you have to guess them. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks.
I don't know how to answer this question though. The 63.
Click the equate head. Yeah. The tree and
okay. Interesting. Can I copy it? Quick.
Well, yeah, you have to. It's so you can't cheat. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, you got it.
Yay. Okay, cool. So, and then it keeps like some sort of a score over here about how well you did.
Yeah, your history. Yeah, and you can click on the little speaker and hear it again. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And does it keep memory? So if I refresh, it's all gone. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Right. It doesn't keep any. It doesn't even. Yeah, it doesn't have a database at all. So it doesn't. It doesn't keep track of anything. And also, yeah, and I need to have a cookie warning actually, because we're here in the EU. So I have to. I need that also. I think I saw something on the Clojure Slack about there's a free service that will help you out with that, like generate a cookie alert and get you all legal. But like if I could, I would not have it use any cookies at all. But I'm using Ring, which seems to like have a automatic cookie like generated by default. So if I could, I would just not have cookies at all, and then I wouldn't need to worry about it. But,
it's possibly something you can disable, I believe.
Yeah.
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 I think that's a session middleware thing that you can disable.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because really, I don't need any server state at all to do this. At least not yet.
Okay. And the app is in the handler. We can just try to debug your code.
Yeah, please. See. Yeah, thank you.
You have the middleware over here, so that's probably what we need to look into. And then it would no. Where is the middleware actually?
Yeah.
And I'll quit some middleware.
Maybe I don't have any middleware.
So where does this guy come from?
I mean, oh, that's a separate file. That's in.
Where?
It should be in. Oh, that's weird. Apparently, I'm referring to something I'm not actually. That doesn't exist.
But so in general, what happens? The reason why you might have that that behavior up to begin with. Let me check your dependencies. Yeah, you use Ring defaults. Ring defaults has some defaults for that, of course.
Yeah,
and depending on what you're using, Ring defaults. So you can still configure things. You have the default configurations for API and for site. If you have site, then you have cookies true and session something.
Yeah.
And this is something you can disable. So
cool.
Yeah.
Good to know. Cool.
And this is how you can do that. So you might have secure site defaults, maybe. And what you can do when you specify your defaults, so then you can, SOC the right configuration to the secure site defaults. And then you probably have somewhere these wrap defaults called. Let me see if I can search that in your code base. It's in dev. Oh, interesting.
Oh, and prod too. Okay, yeah.
Of course, yes.
Oh,
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So here you're saying wrap defaults with the site defaults. So you are grabbing the straight site defaults. You might want to look into the secure site defaults at some point, but only if you have like SSL arranged properly, which seems like you do.
I do, yeah. I use Let's Encrypt, yeah.
So then you can probably look into this, and probably you want to just disable session altogether and put cookies to false, and then be done with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, very helpful.
Cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
I actually saw quite a big number of dependencies on your project. Is it?
Yeah. The main thing is this thing called Menard, which is a library I wrote, which does the linguistic stuff. So it's got all the lexicons and grammars, actually check that out. Yeah. So if you look at I think the interesting thing is demo.txt, and that shows you what it's capable of generating.
I'm just taking some notes for in case I'm gonna produce some video notes for the future. Come again, what link should I follow?
Oh, demo.txt. That just shows you kind of what it's capable of, what kind of expressions it can generate. Yeah, so here we see, so it kind of gets more complicated as you go down. It starts with simple expressions. Oh, and it shows shows it's loading the models. Mm-hmm. And then it starts with some simple expressions, and they get a little more complicated. Okay. And so it's got a Dutch expression and then an English expression next to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is just, so it does translation at the moment.
Yeah, and it does it by it generates like a language independent meaning. It takes it so it parses you give it a specification of what the expression should be, and then you say, okay, I generate that in Dutch, and then it takes that same expression and generates it in English. So there's a language independent semantic, core that can be translated into any language, in principle. But for now, just those two languages.
Okay. Well, that's actually, it gets really to very sophisticated sentences.
Yeah, it's right now the quiz part doesn't do any verbs, but this library does support verbs. So so I'm hoping to just keep, as I learn more Dutch, I'll add more stuff to the quiz to drill on things. It looks like I see a couple of places where it failed, where for some reason it didn't generate the English, but so that's some bug I need to look at. But
like here.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's actually something interesting.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for being interested.
Oh, definitely. And no resources. So where do you get all of the lexicon and
rules? Look in source, and then that directory, and then English and Nederlands are the two. It's even got an Italian. I didn't do that yet, but
just curious.
Yeah.
Okay, now let me just look into English first, just to get a sense of it.
Yeah, sure. Right. Well, this is kind of just a wrapper, right, which loads up all these files, and then if you're interested, you can look into the source file. Yeah.
So do you use any do you use any NLP libraries or something like Stanford or whatever?
No. It's all from scratch, basically. I was thinking I'm hoping to use Wikipedia, Wiktionary to generate, to automatically generate these. So as you can see, they're pretty simple. So I think it'd be pretty easy to take Wiktionary content and then turn it into these pretty simple representations. So yeah, so here are nouns. So okay. that pred value is language independent. So it looks like English, but it could be anything as long as it's shared between the two languages, so that the correspondence is the same.
I see. Okay. And then the morphology is probably, or you have exclamations, adverbs, adjectives, proper nouns, and verbs.
Yeah, the verbs are maybe are more interesting things because they have arguments, right? They have like a subject and an object. And irregulars, you can see how irregulars are encoded with this exceptions.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Can you already represent things like the German declination or inflection of nouns?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So right. So in English we have simple. We have pronouns. Pronouns have cases. So we have I versus me. So if you look in, so I think that's in MISC. I think MISC EDN has the pronouns. Yeah. Right. So if you look at herself, right, the case is accusative. So that's how that's done. So a verb, a verb's object must be accusative. So that's encoded in some lexical rules. So every verb entry gets enriched with these rules that say, oh, I'm a verb with an object, therefore the case of that must be accusative. So there's these rules that apply that it compiles the source lexicon into these more complicated, larger lexicons that have all the information. Yeah, all of this like grammatical information.
And this model compilation has to happen at the beginning, at the startup of the process, I assume.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. So when it loads, that you saw that text in the demo about loading so many rules, it's going to apply it's applying the rules to the source lexicon. So it does it every time you do anything with the library. It doesn't like compile them and write them out. It stores them in memory. The compiled form is not on file. It's not on file. It could be stored in file just to make it faster, but
because you could imagine transferring those configuration file ETN files into a database potentially.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But then you would have to reconstruct all of the in-memory model every time you have an update.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and the nlquiz, it every 5 minutes, it's got a timer thread that checks the source, it reloads from the file system every time.
I see. Okay. Clear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play around with that a little bit.
Oh, please, yeah.
And I'm just curious about the you don't have the Italian sources, let's say.
No, actually, I have that in another repo, which is which I can show you. That's in it's in Koontz, and then go to it's called Babylon. I called it, so in there somewhere. Oh, sorry, Babel. No, you're right, Babel. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Babel is so commonly used, and then go to source again, and then Babel, and then Italiano. There it is. Yes.
Okay. And that uses the same structures as well.
Yeah, it's kind of an earlier generation. It's a little different formalism, but same idea.
Okay.
Yeah, so right. So you can see, so there's a G, so G means generation, P means parsing. So G means take the dictionary form into the base lexical form and turn it into the surface form, whereas parsing is take the surface form and turn it back into the lexical form so you can look it up in the lexicon. Right?
I see. Yeah.
And do it in a certain context. So in the first rule, you see Donna becomes Donna if the number is plural.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the agri again?
Agreement.
Okay. Yeah. That probably. Of course, I do not understand what that means, but okay.
Agreement, like between a subject and a verb, like io, or like le donna versus la donna.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Or that's the article in the noun, but yeah.
And you, okay. Yeah, it's interesting.
Look at the verb. Maybe the verb morphology is more interesting. Is especially interesting because it's.
Do I have to look into the CLJC though?
Oh, sorry. It's the verb direct. Yeah, and then say, for example,
The conditional verb of course, we're looking Italian, so that means I'm actually killing any interest for anybody else. So let me just look into a different language, maybe. Let's do. Oh, you don't have Netherlands here.
No, this is earlier. This was before I moved here. So
I see. So maybe probably here. Maybe yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So I only have present tense for now, but so for example, yeah. So first person. Let's see, first person singular. Yeah, right. So first person singular workin. The dictionary form, the infinitive is workin, and then the first person singular is work. So that's so you see the same kind of rule of going from the dictionary form to the surface form. And for third person, third and second person singular, then you add t. So that's you can see that in the regular expression there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Clear. And what are you trying to? What's your goal for this set of projects? Actually, what are you trying to eventually go for or achieve?
I guess something. I guess I think like how Wiktionary is a way of encoding information like about individual words. I think it would be interesting to make a Wiktionary or a Wikipedia, but for grammar, like to make something where you can encode like all the information about a grammar sufficient so that you could you could generate any possible sentence in any language, and you could use that, for all kinds of applications. But to be able to take like a book, if you have a textbook about learning a foreign language, or about any human language, to be able to encode that in a computer readable way that could be used by computers to generate and parse expressions in the language, I guess.
So say that I want to create the next Slack bot for whatever. You could use this sort of a feature to be able to interface your bot with different language speakers, so to say.
Yeah, right.
Both input and output.
Yeah, right. And and it's very painstaking compared to, and it seems very old-fashioned, right? Like these days, everyone's doing like neural networks and deep learning and all this stuff for linguistics. So the idea of like hand coding all these rules seems kind of archaic, yeah. But for some reason, I just find it interesting. It's kind of like just like a puzzle to try to figure out like how can you generate just grammatical expressions and don't generate any ungrammatical expressions? How do you make the rules get very complicated? And I just find it interesting to try to think about that and try to write them down, try to formalize these rules. Yeah. So it's going like Noam Chomsky was trying to do in the 60s,
Yeah.
So
it's going to be interesting to see how you start to map concepts from very, let's call them bizarre languages or outside the regular or the norm, the most used language families. I'm thinking of like from Finnish to Albanian to
Lojban, Esperanto.
Esperanto is fairly regular in a way because it is drawing from other, let's say, more common languages. But Euskara is definitely going to be a challenge, I guess.
Yeah, Euskara, is that Basque? Same.
Yeah, the Basque language, Euskara.
Yeah. Yes, those are all Those are all isolates, right? They don't have any known that and Finnish and I forget the other one. Yeah.
Hungarian.
Yeah, they're not known to have any relation to other or historical derivation from other languages, right? Or relation to other languages.
I think that at least for the Finnish, Hungarian, they actually they have a common ancestor in a family of languages of which they are the only two survivors.
Okay.
Euskara is more like nobody knows why they speak that way. They're more unique in that sense.
Yeah, and it's the idea. I mean, I think it's an interesting idea to think that, like, is there a common semantic? Is there a way to represent like thoughts in a single in a formalism that could be translated into any language? It seems almost impossible, but it's fun to try. It's fun to try those, to think about that and see how far you can get with it.
Yeah, I guess, well, so far it seems like, at least looking at the demo, you can get fairly far as you are, even though I can imagine as soon as you hit things like jargon or
idioms,
then things will break horribly. But you can survive with that, I guess, in many cases.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like take something like kick, like, you know, in English we say he kicked the bucket, meaning he died. So in this, so the way you do that, you would say kick. Kick has a special entry, has a certain entry, and it takes bucket as an object, and it takes something alive as the subject, and it means die. So you just encode that as a part of the lexicon. So that's how you deal with things like that. So
yeah. Indeed, yeah. Even though then you need to capture all of those spatial cases somewhere, and then you have a few terabytes of hidden files that no Emacs is ever going to be able to edit.
Yeah, right. But it's amazing, like Wikipedia came from nothing, so maybe this could come from, if you got enough people, you could crowdsource it, and you could do it. It's just convincing all these people to work for you.
Well, you can start by doing a scraper of Wikipedia to begin with.
Yes.
Then the problem that I see is that you need to initialize the model at the beginning, and if you have a giant corpus of data that you are processing, then it will take a few hours for the process to start. So it has to be some sort of a service running somewhere that you use, and rarely restart, because it will take hours for it to be ready, I guess.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. Actually, fairly cool. I'm gonna try it out to see, like, performance-wise, how does it, fare.
You can run the demo from the command line.
I think it would be very nice to see also some sort of a translator UI, because that gives you really the understanding of how powerful the tool is to be able to go from language A to language B. That's, I think, quite powerful. Even though this demo is nice, but you miss the point that everything in here is generated from a model. It feels more like a curriculum indeed. So it feels like it's something you have compiled one by one yourself, and it's static. It's useful, but it feels static. Whereas if you had the translator, I would know I'm putting my text in, so that cannot be mistaken for something which is static.
Yes, that would be a good UI to show off. Yeah.
Possibly in different languages as well, because you already support at least 3, or maybe more with your previous Babel effort. So if you just put in a sentence and translate in 4 languages, then it would have a bit more of a wow effect, I think.
Yeah, right. Yes, that would be cool. Yeah.
All right. That's actually, I've been hogging the microphone space for a while. Is anybody having any questions for Eugene?
Well, not a question, and also not more of a comment, because that's that. But I must say that the library that is backing this website is, we almost missed that, and it's quite sophisticated. So yeah, kudos to that. Quite interesting.
Thanks. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I should make that. I should put that on the about page. A link to this.
I'm sure Duolingo will contact you soon.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's and you have been working at this project for, well, some time, right?
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Cool. Do you know if there's anybody using this project for any good reason?
No, I don't. It's got 2 stars. I think maybe I'm one of the stars.
That would be fine. No, it's not you. No.
Oh no, it's not me. It's a guy in Brazil and someone somewhere else. Yeah.
Somewhere else in Budapest. Okay.
Budapest. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
And one in the Netherlands.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Thanks for the star.
All right. So, but yeah, indeed, I think if you are able to add a couple of or to have some sort of a process for receiving some contributions, whether that be some documentation on how to enter new pieces of the corpus, because I would be interested into trying out the Italian version of things, and as well as other languages potentially. I speak Sardinian, so as a speaker of a minority language, it's always interesting for me to see efforts around the space of languages and translation, because then I'm immediately drawn towards trying to do that, to support Sardinian in those tools. So that can be an interesting thing for me to look into. And
Yes, thank you. That's a good idea.